So I've been quiet for a bit and I just wanted to come on and be honest about why, because that's kind of the whole point of this channel, isn't it? I had video 2 planned. I'd been working on it and everything kind of then derailed. My medication got changed and the side effects hit me really hard. A lot harder than I was expecting, if I'm honest. This isn't video 2. This is just me checking in, telling you what's actually been going on, because I think it's worth talking about and because some of you might recognize what I'm about to describe. I think people underestimate what changing psychiatric medication can actually do to you. It's not like swapping a painkiller or something else. When you're changing medication that works on your brain, it affects your mood, your anxiety, and the way you perceive things. The adjustment period can be really rough. I have been through this a few times and I thought I knew what to expect, but I really didn't. What it did for me when my medication changed was it amplified things. Specifically, it amplified my paranoia. And I want to try and explain what that actually feels like, because I don't think it's something that's easy to understand if you haven't been there or been through it. So the paranoia, it's really difficult to describe, but it manifests in all sorts of different ways. For example, if I'm out and about and someone looks at me or looks in my direction, that can trigger it. Immediately, my brain goes to, what have I done? Do they know me? Why are they looking at me? What's wrong? And to be truthful, the reality of it is they're probably just looking past me or not even at me at all. But that logic, that completely reasonable, accurate logic, it doesn't compute. It doesn't stop the paranoia. Even when I can recognize that what I'm feeling doesn't make sense, the paranoia just keeps running. It doesn't care that I know it's irrational. It just keeps going. And that can take over a whole day. That one moment, that one glance from a stranger, and I'm still thinking about it hours later. What were they looking at? Why were they doing that? Also, where I live, there's lots of tourists. So there's always people taking photos. And when it's bad, my brain goes, why is that person taking a photo? Are they taking a photo of me? What are they doing? And the reality of it is they're photographing the shops behind me or the street or something completely unrelated to me. But yeah, it takes over. And it also, when it gets really bad, the paranoia, I physically shake, which is my own thing to deal with. But that's really hard to try and calm that down while your brain is already going at full speed. There was one morning recently, the doorbell rang really early and I just froze. I didn't answer it. Luckily, the curtains were closed, and I eventually kind of crept and tried to peek and see if I could see who was there. But I spent the rest of the day worrying. Who was it? Why were they ringing so early? What did they want? What was the reason for it? And my partner tried to reassure me that it was probably nothing. It could have been the wrong door or something innocent. There's not really any reason to worry. And I know that. I know it's true, but it doesn't stop the paranoia. That logic doesn't outweigh the fear. The paranoia just keeps going regardless of what anyone says. And to be honest with you, that one still hasn't fully resolved for me, if I'm honest. They didn't come back. So in one sense, it's over and done with. But in another sense, it creates its own set of worries that are still there. Will they come back? What are they? Why did they do it in the first place? So that's what paranoia actually is. It's not dramatic. It's not like in the movies where you see people kind of rushing around and being irrational. It's just your brain on a loop. And it's usually about completely ordinary things, but it's on a loop all day and you can't turn it off. It's exhausting. And also, when you're in that state, basic things become enormous. So I couldn't look after myself properly recently. Things that are just automatic normally, like getting up, showering, eating, I found myself needing prompting for. Support with my partner was incredible. I don't have words for how much they've done recently. And also things like my mum came and stayed for a few days to look after me, which, yeah, I won't take that for granted either. But the only things that gave me relief were sleep. So when I finally got to the point of exhaustion with the paranoia, I could actually sleep, and watching Minecraft videos, which sounds really like a small thing, but when your brain is going at full volume all day, something you can just watch that doesn't demand anything from you, that really helped. Also, in the middle of all this, I still had to work. I work from home, which in some ways is a great thing, but it also meant logging on every day and still having to be okay, be present, answer things, be professional. And then I'd find myself closing the laptop at the end of the day and just kind of falling apart again. And to be honest with you, I don't agree with that. I want to say that plainly. I don't think that's how it should be. For example, if I had a broken leg, nobody would have expected me to sit at a desk all day. But because it's mental health, because it's something that's perceivably invisible, there is kind of this pressure to keep showing up and keep functioning and keep performing. People can be sympathetic to it, but they don't really understand the struggle that goes with it. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this have been there and been keeping it together while everything else is falling apart around you. And it can make you feel completely alone in that, but you're not alone. And to be honest with you, the energy it takes to perform and be okay when you're not is real. It costs a lot. It takes a lot out of you. And it always kind of takes more than you realize at the time. When you look back at it, you realize just how exhausting and how much it takes out of you. I also want to be honest about one more thing, because this channel was supposed to be honest. When my mental health drops this hard, some darker thoughts come with it. Now I am safe. I want to say that first off. I am completely safe. I have support around me, and things are more settled now than they were. But it did happen. And I'm saying this because I think it's part of what a serious mental health episode actually looks like for a lot of people. And pretending that bit doesn't exist isn't honest, and it isn't helpful either. So if you're in that place right now, please talk to someone, be it your GP or someone you trust, or even things like the Samaritans. They're great. They're available at any time. They give you no judgment. You don't have to be on the brink to be able to speak to them. Even just struggling or being able to realize that that point is kind of there and coming, that's enough. So please make sure you try and talk to someone. I know how hard it is, and I know all the feelings that go with it, but it is one of the best things that you can do. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, it's just to look after yourself, and look after yourself properly. I spent weeks putting myself last, putting things ahead of me, because I felt like I didn't really have a choice to, and that has come at a cost. I know you can't always put yourself first, because that is unrealistic, and it's also in a way selfish. But we're not talking about being selfish, we're talking about being self-aware. So I know that putting yourself first all the time is not how life works. But find those moments, find where there are gaps, where you can do something kind for yourself instead of pushing through it, and make sure you take them and you use them. I don't all the time, and that's what leads to things like this. Let people help when they offer, sleep when you can, and don't just be okay for longer than you absolutely have to. If you are struggling and you are not okay, it's also okay to not be okay. And if something feels really wrong after things like a medication change, make sure you tell your prescriber. Give them the full picture. Don't hold anything back. Don't feel that you're being dramatic. It's really important to be as honest as you can, because that helps them to help you. So as I said, this isn't video 2. Video 2 is still coming. I haven't put it down. I haven't kind of got rid of it. I just wanted to be honest with you about why there's been a gap, because, as I said, pretending everything has been fine and making a normal video wouldn't feel right, and it wouldn't be true to the ethos of this channel. I'll be honest, the schedule might look a bit different whilst things still settle down. I'm not going to promise something I can't deliver right now, but I am still here and I am still building this channel, and making this video from where I am right now felt like the right thing to do. It felt like what the channel was supposed to be. So if this sounded familiar, if you stood frozen at the door or kept it together on a work call while everything's been falling apart behind the screens, you're not alone. You're not being dramatic. You're not weak. You're carrying something that's really heavy and something that not everybody understands or knows quite how to deal with. But just remember, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.